Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever wondered why that one favorite t-shirt seems to last forever, while another one just gives up after a few washes? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on your closet and look at the incredible unsung science that makes your clothes work. Oh, we've all been there, right? You find this absolutely beautiful kurta. You're so excited about it. You wear it once, maybe twice, and then suddenly it's faded, it's shrunk, or there's a tear. It is so frustrating. Well, that feeling of disappointment, that's exactly what the science of textile testing is here to prevent. All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with the biggest question of all. Why do some of our clothes fail so badly while others seem practically invincible? Here's the secret. It's not luck, and it's definitely not magic. Behind every single piece of clothing that you love, the one that holds its shape and color, there's a whole lot of science. We're talking about rigorous tests that turn guesswork into hard, measurable facts. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the absolute foundation of any good fabric, its strength. I mean, how much can it actually handle? How does it stand up to the pulls and tugs of just, well, living your life? You know that feeling of complete betrayal, right? You bend down to tie your shoe in a perfectly good pair of jeans and you hear that awful rip sound. Ah, that frustrating tear is a classic example of a fabric failing what scientists call its tensile strength. So, to stop that from happening, labs use this amazing machine called a tensile tester. You can literally think of it as a super scientific game of tug of war. Its one and only job is to pull on a piece of fabric and measure the exact amount of force it can take before it finally breaks. And the way it works is actually pretty straightforward, but it's incredibly precise. A little strip of fabric gets clamped in between these two jaws. Then the machine starts pulling with a very controlled, steady force. And all the while, it's recording exactly how much force it takes to snap that fabric. That number tells a manufacturer if those jeans are actually ready for the real world or if they're going to betray you. So, being strong is crucial, for sure. But what good is a strong shirt if it looks all worn out and terrible after a month? Not much. So, let's move on to the tests that make sure our clothes don't just last, but they look good while doing it. Okay, here's another clothing tragedy I'm sure you've seen. You've got a new camise and the shoulder is perfect. But after a few weeks of carrying your handbag, that same spot is all worn down and frayed. That damage is from friction, and it's called abrasion. So what's the solution in the lab? It's the abrasion tester. This machine is designed to perfectly simulate that kind of real-life wear. It just rubs a fabric sample against a standard surface over and over and over again, sometimes for thousands of times. It's basically like hitting the fast forward button to see how your clothes will hold up to daily friction. And then there's this fuzzy nightmare. You know what I'm talking about. Those annoying little baubles that show up all over your favorite sweater, those are called pills. They happen when little fibers on the surface get tangled up from, you guessed it, friction. To see this coming, labs use a pilling tester. This machine basically tumbles fabric samples around to mimic the rubbing they'd get during wear or in the wash. It shows manufacturers just how likely a fabric is to develop those annoying little pills. A good test result means you get a sweater that stays smooth for way, way longer. Now, let's talk about color, because keeping colors true is a whole science in itself. First, you've got the laundrometer. It simulates a washing machine to make sure colors don't bleed all over your other clothes. Then there's the croc meter. This one checks if color rubs off, which is so important for preventing a vibrant bandani print from, transferring onto your skin. And finally, the light tester blasts fabric with intense light to make sure that a beautiful sari border doesn't fade after one afternoon in the sun. It's pretty amazing, right? Three totally different machines, all working to keep your clothes looking vibrant. All right, so A piece of clothing can be strong, it can hold its color, but if it doesn't feel good to wear, you're just not going to reach for it. So now, let's get into the science of how a fabric actually feels on your skin. Think about it. Why does one cotton kurta feel so light and cool on a humid Mumbai day, while another one just feels stuffy and sticky? It all comes down to comfort. And believe it or not, what makes one fabric feel airy and another feel like you're wearing a plastic bag is something we can actually measure scientifically. And the answer comes from this, the air permeability tester. It does exactly what it sounds like. It measures how easily and how quickly air can pass through a piece of fabric. It's a simple formula, really. The higher the airflow, the more breathable and comfortable that kurta is going to feel on a hot day. Now let's shift from comfort to pure aesthetics. That beautiful, elegant way a sari flows and hangs as you move. That's not an accident. It's a very specific and, yes, measurable quality that designers call drape. And this is where science gives a number to an artistic quality. The drape meter takes a circle of fabric, drapes it over a small disc, and then shines a light on it. The machine then analyzes the shape of the shadow the fabric creates to calculate something called a drape coefficient. It's a way of turning a feeling into a number, giving designers the data they need to create that perfect, flawless fall. So for our last section, let's zoom out a bit. Let's look at how all this amazing lab technology has evolved and what it really means for the clothes that end up in our wardrobes. It wasn't always this high-tech. For hundreds of years, textile quality was really more of an art. It relied on a person's individual experience, how a fabric felt in their hands, how it looked to their eye. It was all subjective guesswork. But wow, have things changed. Modern, automated labs have completely transformed the game. You can see it right here. The jump in both accuracy and speed is just massive. Automation takes human error out of the equation and gives us reliable data, which means we get consistently great quality on a huge scale. And the technology just keeps getting better. The tools in today's labs sound like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're talking high-powered digital microscopes that can identify a single fiber, advanced imaging systems that spot tiny defects you'd never see with the naked eye, and even AI that can analyze all this data in new and powerful ways. And really, it all comes down to this idea. Modern lab equipment has taken textile testing from something that was purely subjective, a matter of opinion, and turned it into a precise, objective science. And it's that scientific certainty that allows us to trust the quality of the clothes we buy. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. With artificial intelligence becoming more and more a part of this process, where do we go from here? Could we one day design the perfect fabric? I mean, a fabric that's personalized just for you and that truly, literally never rips or fades or pills. I don't know, but one thing's for sure. The science in your wardrobe is just getting started.